Coming into MSC 2026, almost nobody expected this headline. Team Liquid PH eliminated before the playoffs. This was the reigning MSC champion, the first ever MPL Philippines 3-peat champion, and one of the tournament favorites. Yet, instead of another championship run, they exited the competition without winning a single series. So, what actually happened? Was it bad drafting, a shifting meta, stronger international competition, or did small mistakes finally catch up to them? Today we're breaking down exactly where Team Liquid PH's title defense fell apart. Welcome back to Mobile Legends News. The expectation for Team Liquid PH couldn't have been much higher. Fresh off a historic MPL Philippines Season 17 championship, they entered MSC carrying the reputation of being the best team in the strongest MLBB region. Their domestic dominance, disciplined backrow play, and championship pedigree made them one of the safest picks to reach the finals, if not, win the entire event. But international tournaments don't reward past achievements. They reward adaptation. Instead of extending their legacy, Team Liquid PH suffered an unexpected early exit after consecutive losses to Aurora Turkey and Entity 7, ending one of the most shocking title defenses in recent MLBB history. The biggest mistake people make after a shocking elimination is trying to find one person to blame. They'll point at a misdistribution, a questionable draft, or a single player having an off series. But Team Liquid PH's early exit wasn't caused by one bad moment. It was the result of several small issues happening at the same time against opponents that were fully prepared to capitalize. Let's start with the drafts. Throughout MPL Philippines Season 17, Team Liquid built their identity around flexibility. They could play slow macro, explosive skirmishes, scaling compositions, or aggressive early game lineups depending on the matchup. Their drafting was rarely predictable, which made them incredibly difficult to prepare for. That's one of the reasons they became the first team to win 3 consecutive MPL Philippines championships. But MSC 2026 looked very different. Against Aurora Turkey, Team Liquid immediately found themselves dealing with something they hadn't experienced during domestic competition. Aurora introduced an unconventional mid-lane Rafaela pick that completely disrupted Team Liquid's expectations. According to Sanji after the match, it wasn't something they had encountered in scrims, allowing Aurora to dictate the tempo from the opening minutes. Instead of Team Liquid forcing opponents to react, they were the ones trying to figure out answers during the game itself. That first series also highlighted another concern: objective control. Aurora consistently secured the early neutral objectives, including multiple turtle takes and the First Lord in Game 2. Those objectives translated into map control, vision, and pressure that prevented Team Liquid from reaching the kind of stable mid-game where they're usually at their strongest. Rather than dictating rotations, they spent much of the series responding to Aurora's tempo. Now, losing one series isn't unusual. Great teams recover all the time. The real problem was that Team Liquid never truly reset before facing Entity 7. The lower bracket elimination match exposed many of the same issues. Entity 7 didn't simply play better mechanically. They played with a clear understanding of what Team Liquid wanted to accomplish. They consistently denied comfortable map setups, forced awkward engagements around major objectives, and punished overextensions whenever Team Liquid tried to accelerate the pace. During Game 1, a crucial Lord fight around the 7-minute mark resulted in a decisive team wipe that shifted complete control to Entity 7. From that point onward, Team Liquid was chasing the game instead of controlling it. Execution also deserves attention here. When people hear execution, they often think about flashy mechanics, but that's only part of the equation. Execution is about whether every player arrives at the same fight at the same time, whether cooldowns are layered correctly, whether the front line creates enough space, and whether the back line can safely deal damage. Throughout MSC, Team Liquid looked slightly disconnected compared to the incredibly synchronized roster that dominated MPL Philippines. Rotations occasionally arrived a second late. Objective contests weren't as clean. Some engages lacked immediate follow-up. Those are tiny details, but against the world's best teams, tiny details decide entire matches. It's also important to recognize that Team Liquid's opponents came with targeted preparation. Aurora Turkey entered MSC as 3-time consecutive champions of Turkey and had already demonstrated enormous growth throughout their regional season. They weren't simply another international representative, they were a disciplined team that had developed a unique identity capable of challenging traditional powerhouses. Entity 7 represented another challenge entirely. The Peruvian squad showed absolutely no fear against the defending champions. Rather than respecting Team Liquid's reputation, they constantly pressured them, forced uncomfortable fights, and trusted their own decision-making. That's often the biggest difference in modern international tournaments. Years ago, newer regions frequently played cautiously against Philippine teams. Today, they're willing to dictate the game themselves. Another discussion revolves around hero priorities. Without oversimplifying the draft, Team Liquid sometimes appeared to move away from the comfort combinations that helped establish their domestic dominance. In the Entity 7 series, certain composition choices struggled to consistently threaten the opposing frontline or scale into ideal late-game conditions, making every mid-game mistake significantly more costly. At the same time, Entity 7 drafted with a clear win condition and executed around it from start to finish. That doesn't necessarily mean the draft itself lost the series. The draft only matters if execution supports it. The reality is that several of Team Liquid's compositions required near-perfect coordination to succeed, while their opponents played simpler, more direct styles that were easier to execute under tournament pressure. Another factor worth discussing is adaptation. International tournaments move incredibly fast. You don't have weeks to reinvent your strategies. Sometimes you just have one day or even one night to study your opponent, identify mistakes, and prepare new answers. The teams that survive longest are usually the ones that adapt the quickest. Unfortunately for Team Liquid, their adjustments between Aurora and Entity 7 weren't enough to completely change the momentum. The same problems involving tempo, objective control, and map pressure resurfaced when everything was on the line. But does this mean Team Liquid suddenly became a bad team? Absolutely not. They're still one of the strongest organizations in MLBB, backed by one of the deepest coaching staffs and one of the most accomplished rosters in the world. One disappointing tournament doesn't erase multiple championship-winning seasons, but it does prove something much bigger. The global MLBB scene has changed. For years, fans often entered international tournaments expecting Philippine teams to dominate almost automatically. That's becoming a much harder prediction to make. Regions like Turkey, the Americas, East Asia, and others have invested heavily in coaching, analytics, infrastructure, and player development. The expansion of MLBB's competitive ecosystem has created more opportunities for regions to scrim stronger opponents, gain international experience, and close the competitive gap. Team Liquid's elimination isn't just a story about one favorite underperforming. It's evidence that international competition has reached a new level. When the defending champions can be eliminated by champions from Turkey and Peru in a consecutive series, it shows that preparation, innovation, and execution now matter more than regional reputation. Every team arriving at MSC believes they can win, and increasingly, they have the level to prove it. In many ways, Team Liquid PH's exit may become one of the most defining moments of MSC 2026. Not because a dynasty ended, but because it reminded everyone that global MLBB has never been deeper, more competitive, and more unpredictable than it is today. Team Liquid PH's elimination should be remembered as more than just one of the biggest upsets in MSC history. It reflects how rapidly the global MLBB scene has evolved, where regional champions from around the world are now capable of matching and defeating the Philippines' very best. Sustained international dominance is becoming increasingly difficult as every region continues to innovate, improve, and prepare more effectively. While this result is undoubtedly disappointing for the defending champions, it also highlights the success of MLBB's expanding global esports ecosystem. For Team Liquid PH, this tournament may not define their legacy, but how they respond to the setback could shape their next chapter. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think was the biggest reason behind Team Liquid PH's early exit? Was it the drafting, execution, difficulty adapting to the tournament meta, individual performances, or were Aurora Turkey and Entity 7 simply the better teams on the day? Let us know your thoughts in the comments and tell us what changes Team Liquid PH should make before their next international tournament. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe to Mobile Legends News, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest MLBB analysis and esports updates. Till next time.